Hey guys, how are you doing today? I'm Star Wars Meg. Welcome back to my channel. So recently a few people requested that I speak about this. So on Star Wars Theories channel, he did his own breakdown for the season 2 trailer, and he mentioned that someone messaged him about an Easter egg in the trailer with regards to Boba Fett. We actually see Boba Fett's armor supposedly on Mando's back in the speeder scene in the desert. So I wanted to talk about it and give my 2 cents about it. Initially I wasn't gonna make a video on this, but the more I researched it, the more interesting it got, so here we go. At this stage, what we know is that Boba Fett is probably going to be in season 2 of The Mandalorian, and he's going to be played by Temuera Morrison, who played Jango Fett, the father of Boba Fett, in episode 2 Attack of the Clones. So we do know that there's a strong possibility this Easter egg could turn out to be legitimate. It's not too far-fetched to assume so, and it very much seems like what Lucasfilm would do to get us, really hyped and to get really serious fans excited, because I'm pretty sure 99.9% of fans missed it. If it wasn't for Star Wars Theories video, I wouldn't have even known about this, and I've watched the trailer like 10 times at this point. So in today's video, I want to talk about Boba Fett's armor, why he'll return in season 2, how he will return, how he's alive, all of that stuff. So first things first, for a character that is so popular as Boba Fett and so mysterious, it's quite amazing how little material there is in canon about him specifically after his supposed death in the Sarlacc pit in episode 6. Now we know as a fandom that he survived, but the non-canonical version, the non-canon answer as to why he's alive is far more fascinating. I already did a video on this, but to put it simply, he manipulated the Sarlacc and used another victim that got swallowed up by the Sarlacc pit as bait. Now, in terms of canon, very little is known, but what we do know is how his armor survived. So it basically comes from the novel Aftermath, Empire's End, and I really highly recommend that you check out this book. So what happens is 3 months after he gets absorbed by the Sarlacc pit, Jawa sell 2 interested men some armor, and it turns out to be Mandalorian armor, and amongst the helmets we get Boba Fett's armor and his helmet. What's really interesting to note about this is the armor is covered in a form of acid, and I'm going to make the assumption that this is stomach acid from the Sarlacc or the pit of Cancun, whatever you want to call it. What the trailer could be telling us, if this Easter egg turns out to be legitimate, is that Mando is bringing the armor back to Boba Fett. The role that Boba Fett will play in season 2 is really unknown at this stage, because with the other characters that are apparently going to appear like Sabine Wren and Bo-Katan and Ahsoka Tano, we can make speculation based on Rebels, because there's so little material in canon about Boba Fett's survival and why he's alive and how he plays into the later story of The Mandalorian. It is practically impossible to come up with a storyline or a plot point in which they're going to use, because they could go in multiple directions, but what I would love to see is a flashback to the Sarlacc pit. Make a 2020 version of the Sarlacc pit and see a flashback of how Boba Fett survived. That would be probably amongst one of my most favourite Star Wars scenes of all time if that were to be made possible, and if they do it right. With Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, you can't go wrong, so I'm sure it would look fantastic. But I want to see a flashback to Jabba's palace, to episode 6. Just give some fan service but in the appropriate amounts, and I think that would be a lovely way to do it. And it's not a question of just completely focusing on Boba Fett and nothing else, but just give us some insight into why he's alive and why he plays into the Mandalorian season 2 and why he's relevant. But if this Easter egg, or this so-called Easter egg in the Mandalorian season 2 trailer, is legitimate, we can more or less assume for certain that it's because Mando is bringing back the armor to Boba Fett. Now, the most important thing to know about the return of Boba Fett for The Mandalorian Season 2 is who he is and what his identity is, because at this point we don't know if Mando is aware of Boba Fett, but he might be bringing him back the armor, thinking that he's bringing armor back to a Mandalorian. But remember, Boba Fett is not a Mandalorian. Now I'm going to read to you from Den of Geek, who has the best summary of this. Before Attack of the Clones gave him a definitive backstory, Boba Fett's origin was a bit of a mystery. The general consensus in the days of the original trilogy was that Boba was a Mandalorian, a member of the evil group of warriors defeated by Jedi during the Clone Wars. But this changed in the 1990s when a novella written by Daniel Keyes Moore entitled The Last One Standing sought to give the bounty hunter a surprising new origin and identity. Moore's story suggested that Boba Fett was a man named Jaster Muriel, a journeyman protector from Mandalore who'd committed treason. The origin was later retconned in episode 2, of course. The Muriel character was folded into canon as the mentor and adoptive father of Jango Fett, Boba's own dad, once Boba was revealed to be a clone who was created on Kamino. In the end, Boba's canon origin was a way for George Lucas to explain what exactly the infamous Clone Wars were. So, you know, if Boba Fett is going to return in The Mandalorian Season 2, and if Mando is going to bring him his armor, he's in for quite a surprise. So that's all I have for you guys today. That's my reaction and explanation of how Boba Fett's going to return in Season 2. And so let me know what you think in the comments down below. Hit like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. I'm Star Wars Meg, and I wish you a fantastic rest of the day, no matter where you dwell in the galaxy.